March 18th, 1990, 1:24 in the morning. A car pulls up outside a side door of Boston Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Two men in police uniforms lean on the buzzer. There's been a disturbance, they say. They just need to come and check it out. The guard on duty is 23 years old. He breaks protocol and lets them through. They aren't police. Within minutes, both guards are now duct taped to workbenches in the basement. The two men now have the run of one of the finest private art collections in America. No alarm to answer to, and 81 minutes to decide what art history looks like for the next 36 years. They smash glass, slice two paintings straight out of their frames with a box cutter, and pry others loose entirely. The museum's motion detectors quietly log every step of it, which is how investigators would eventually reconstruct exactly where the thieves walked, even without a single frame of footage showing their faces. By 2:45 a.m., they're gone. So are 13 works of art, 3 Rembrandts, a Vermeer, 5 Degas and Manet, a landscape once credited to Rembrandt and later reattributed to his student Flink, an ancient Chinese bronze beaker 3,000 years old, and strangely, a bronze eagle finial pried off the top of a Napoleonic flagpole, a piece worth almost nothing, taken for reasons nobody has ever explained. Combined value? North of $500 million. It remains the largest unsolved property theft on the planet. The dollar figure is the least interesting part of this story. To understand what was actually lost, you have to understand who built this place and why. Isabella Stewart Gardner wasn't collecting art to keep up with Gilded Age Boston society. She was defying it, working with the young art historian Bernard Berenson as her advisor. She spent years buying her way across Europe, then built her museum, Fenway Court, as a working replica of a Venetian palazzo, and arranged every room herself. Her will contained a non-negotiable clause. Nothing in the collection could ever be added, removed, or rearranged. Break that rule, and the whole collection would be liquidated and handed to Harvard. She wanted her museum frozen in time, permanently, exactly as she left it. That clause is the only reason you can still walk into the Dutch room today and see 3 empty gold frames hanging exactly where the stolen paintings used to be. Now, what actually left the building? Vermeer painted for maybe 2 decades and left behind only around 3 dozen known works, worldwide, forever. He worked slowly, and so little survives that every single Vermeer functions as an irreplaceable data point for understanding Dutch Golden Age painting. The Concert was one of them, one of his largest, most ambitious compositions. It's gone, not damaged as far as anyone knows, just gone, and with it, one of maybe 3 dozen windows we have left into how this specific painter thought about light. Then there's Christ in the Storm of the Sea of Galilee. Rembrandt painted portraits, self-studies, and biblical dramas set indoors. This is his only seascape, 1633. A boat, a wave, panic, a total departure from his usual register. Lose that, and you don't just lose the painting. You lose the one surviving piece of evidence that Rembrandt ever tried this at all. Even the misattributed piece tells his own story. Berenson himself helped Gardner acquire landscape with an obelisk in 1900, sold to her at the time as a Rembrandt. It hung as one for more than 80 years until scholars in the 1890s reassigned it to Govert Flink, one of Rembrandt's own students. A quiet reminder that genius in art history is often a label applied after the fact, and one that can be revoked. So what walked out that door wasn't just money, it was a primary evidence, some of it one of one, about how specific painters actually thought. Now, the investigation. The FBI has worked on this case for over 3 decades. In 2013, they announced they knew who committed the theft. Boston area organized crime figures, all of whom had since died, but declined to name them. The trial has run through Connecticut and Philadelphia mob circles for years. A suspect named Reese Fielder, believed to have owned the getaway car, an informant investigators nicknamed Meatball, and a career thief who reportedly told an associate years before the heist that if he ever took that Napoleonic finial, he'd treat it like a signature on the job. And then, this year, a new wrinkle. A retired FBI agent who spent decades on the case published a book with a detail nobody had emphasized before. The motion sensor logs show the thieves never entered the museum's Blue Room gallery, but a painting is missing from that gallery. And 34 minutes before the men arrived, the guard who let them in made an unexplained trip into that exact room. It's a theory, not a charge. Nobody has ever been arrested. Not the guard, not anyone. The reward has set at $10 million for years. Still unclaimed, the museum's own chief investigator has compared the job to working a cold homicide case, walking past the same outline year after year, waiting for it to finally close. Which brings us back to the frames. Because of Gardner's will, those 3 empty rectangles in the Dutch room were never taken down. They hang exactly where the paintings used to, gilded in blank, marking an absence the museum is legally required to preserve. Nobody designed this as an artwork. It became one anyway. People traveled to Boston specifically to look at nothing, at the exact shape of a Vermeer that might never come back. Every other painting in this museum asks you to look at what an artist put on the canvas. These 3 frames ask you to look at what's missing, and to sit with the possibility that it's gone for good. 36 years later, nobody knows where the Vermeer is, nobody knows where the Rembrandt is, and the case is still open.